Wow. Hi, 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 hi. I'm dying. um, yeah, I'm dying. I feel really sick today. I feel really sick right now. Kind of queasy, like I'm about to throw up. um, but I had the best day today. A better day today than I've had in a long, long time. I think today was the best day I've had in almost a month. Let's see. When did things start getting bad? Yeah, last month on April 8th was the day that my mom called me a disappointment. And then it kind of just went downhill from there with every week after that having another person in my life say something horrible to me. I guess I deserve it, whatever. But yeah. I'm trying again to not talk to people, not communicate with them as much as possible, because I realized that, like, yeah, I'm imperfect and other people are imperfect. And if you keep giving them chances, it's literally loot box. They may say something that's great, or they may say something that, helps you spiral. So, today I spent the day alone. I slept through a lot of the LCK, the Genji versus who did they go against? K. What is it? Not KT. KFX, DFX, and yeah, it was terrible. I watched T1 versus DNS, and that was also kind of a steamroll, but it was a lot of fun and really funny and entertaining. Man, that carrier play, man, you had to be there. It was so funny. That Gromp Lord. um, but yeah, I decided to go to sleep before the Genji one started because I realized, like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I, like, becoming sleep deprived so that I could watch the LCK live as it's playing? It's such a stupid thing for me to do. Like, let's pretend we have some brain cells here. I could always just watch it later. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to give it a rest and save some for later. I did a lot of reading the past 2 days, actually. 2 days ago, I started reading. I'm just thinking of the title. Give me a second. What Do You Care What Other People Think by Richard Feynman? Is his first name Richard? You know, the physicist. I think his first name is Richard. Anyway, I started reading that because it was referenced in another book I was reading, and the title of the book, it just, it just called out to me because I care entirely too much about what other people think. I care so much. Man, what do I care? I care way too damn much. I'm always afraid of being myself and living my life because I'm worried about the thoughts of others. And I've had enough, and I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm taking a break. I would like to do 30 days at least. I want to prove something too. I want to see if I actually legitimately do not speak to anyone else for a month. How much happier will I be? Or will it be the same? I have a sneaking suspicion I will be much, much happier. Because like I said, every day in my planner I track what I did that day, but I also track my mood and usually a little bit of something about my mood. And every time, okay, I won't lie, I always have bad days. I always feel pretty bad. But they get much, much, much worse when other people are involved. It's something like they just can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. They just gotta piss you off. It's like their job or something. Anyway, I did a lot of Python practice today. Had a lot of fun with that. I'm still struggling, I'm not gonna lie, because I want to learn innately. Like, I want to memorize so that I can move faster and put things together and have like a bigger picture. And I feel frustrated with myself because a lot of other people have said the opposite. They're just like, "Oh, okay, why are you doing this? Just make a project. Go make a project. Like, jump in, go try making a project." And I'm like, "Okay, but I don't know. For example, I don't know how to print a string vertically, one letter at a time." I do know now, by the way. I do know now. You could just use a for loop to do that. A for loop on the variable, the string name variable, whatever. Or there's other little things, right? Like indexing, where I've read a lot so far, so I know or understand the gist of how indexing works a little bit here or there. Like when I'm reading it, I feel like I understand. When I do the practice problems, I feel like I understand. But then if I go let's say I go 2 or 3 weeks without touching it, and then someone says to me, "Okay, here's a list with all kinds of things in the list." Let's say it's like a list of integers, and then it has like a nested list, and then it has some other things. Okay, how do we access this particular element in this list, right? And then I know that, okay, lists use square brackets in Python, and I know that indexing starts from 0, but I would forget things about to give a very clear example, I forgot that for accessing an element inside of a nested collection, you need to, instead of opening the brackets and then putting the first index number and then a comma and then the next index number, that doesn't work. You have a separate set of square brackets for each index. So you go okay, there's 3 elements that are at the highest level, but then in the 3rd element there are 4 more elements, and element number at index 2, which is element number 3, is a list, and then that one has whatever. So it'd be anyway, words. And then it was okay, do the same thing but do it with dictionaries. And I'm like, okay, well, I know that dictionaries use curly brackets, and I know they don't use numeric indexing, they use key-based access. So I know that I need to use something with the key to access the values that are stored with that key. But then I was like, So I was trying to put the name of the dictionary and then open curly bracket and access it that way. I forgot that it's like, even though it's not indexing, you still use square brackets to access. Anyway, what am I talking about here? What I'm trying to say is that I'm still enjoying learning. I feel like there is a ton for me to learn. I do think that it might be too late. Maybe my brain is cooked. I feel really retarded a lot of the time. I feel like I made myself brain rotted from consuming too much Reddit and internet garbage, but I still want to try. But it's coming along very slowly. I've also been practicing art with the book, what is it called? It's by Loomis. Let me think of the name. This has a really fun title. I don't remember the name of the book. I will look it up right now. So the thing is, Alzheimer's runs in my family, and I do think it's a mix of the brain rot and some other stuff. I feel like I have early onset Alzheimer's, so I keep trying to quiz myself. Okay, so his name is Andrew Loomis. I did get the last name right. And it's called Fun with a Pencil. That's the book that I settled on. I have a lot of different art books that I was bouncing between before, but I settled on trying this one. And one thing that I really like so far is like, so he starts with like basically cartoonist drawings. So drawing little cartoon figures, like starting with faces. And I did the first exercise without reading all the steps to the end, but immediately I decided that I would follow his guidelines, but instead of drawing the exact, little bald old guys that he kept drawing, I was going to draw whatever I wanted to draw. And I was really happy because I did that. And then I got to the bottom of the page and he was like, remember, you don't have to copy these exactly. You could make your own, be creative. And I was like, that's exactly what I did. That's what I did. I drew one that kind of looks like a fern. I drew one that looks like it's like a girl with a ponytail, but her face is like a potato. I don't know. And then I drew one that is reminiscent of an Animal Crossing character. Anyway, where was I going with this? Also, with piano, I feel like I've forgotten how to play. I've forgotten how to read music. God, it's so bad. I mean, some of it is still there, but I noticed that, oh God, there's so many things. I'm so out of practice that I feel like I have to begin again, and it's really frustrating. Because, yeah, I was making a lot of progress before, and now I just, threw it away. So I was timing myself and, practicing some theory quizzes online. And, yeah, I'm not really happy with the results, but I'm happy because today felt like a successful day because I got to do all of those things which I enjoyed doing. Ha 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 ha. Yesterday I ended stream early because I got upset with Oni-chan. It's because he was right, by the way. He was talking about the German. I don't know how to say this word, but I'm gonna look it up because now I know how to. Now I know how to use. Now I know how to use diacritical marks. yeah, umlaut. So he was right. In German, the two dots can be called an umlaut. It's used when a German vowel is pronounced like a mix of two vowel sounds. Like the word Kimma, I don't know how to say this. I really don't know how to say this. Kimma, but it's spelled like Kummel, whatever. Anyway, it's also known as a diaeresis or diaeresis. Where was I going with that though? I was so excited. This is all related, I promise you. Basically, because I'm very concerned about the state of the world and the state of my brain and my own capabilities. There's so many words I have to say right now. I want to do things that make me feel like I'm not regressing, that like I'm moving forward. So yeah, as I read more and I come across new words, I would like to be able to look them up and also understand the pronunciation. So whenever you look up a word in the dictionary, usually next to the word, they have like some funny looking letters that look similar to the word, but like the E is upside down for some reason or whatever, or they have like weird markings. And those are sometimes they're called pronunciation symbols or diacritical marks. And there aren't that many of them as far as I could tell in the English language. So it's very doable for you to learn like how to read that. And then you can sound out any word from the dictionary that as long as that's available. And I think that's just so powerful for me. So anyway, and the other thing I wanted to talk about too is that we talked about IQ here and there because I make you guys do the this or that with me. And I know recently, semi-recently, XQC did an IQ test on stream, and another streamer making fun of XQC was like, he's an idiot. I could do much better. And then did the same IQ test and proceeded to do worse, whatever. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to do that. Like, I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, for content, I'm gonna do an IQ test. Maybe I will. Maybe I will, but probably not. But I have in the past. And in addition, where am I going with this? Standardized tests can be similar in some ways to kind of like the traditional IQ tests in that in that they are testing for a certain type of intelligence. And IQ has been broken down into different types of intelligences, and there are different types of IQ tests. And yeah, I'm not thinking anything controversial about whatever. What I am trying to say though is that you can have a person who scores high in some, in certain intelligences and not in others. And it can have different meanings. And a lot of it may have to do with development and genetics, environment, all these things. And some types are more crystallized and harder to move, and others are, you know, they can be improved upon. Anyway, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole because I think my non-verbal IQ is probably average. I think I would say it's probably average. Like my executive function, reaction time, processing time, pattern recognition, I think I can do it. Maybe slightly above, but probably not that high. My verbal IQ, on the other hand, has been pretty high for about as long as I can remember having an idea about what that means. And I'm not saying this to brag about myself. There are some issues with that discrepancy that I came across, and I don't know if this is true for everyone, but it seems to be certainly true for me, where people with this predicament can be overthinkers and sort of perfectionists. One thing that comes to mind is like, you know, sometimes I want to talk to you guys and I have like a word, like there's a word and I'm like, there is a specific word for this thing that I want to describe and I just can't move on until I get the word, like that kind of thing or whatever. But anyway, this discrepancy though, it can make social interactions difficult because I guess people like communicating with other people when they feel like they understand them and can be understood by them. And I don't know, it clicked. I was reading Nassim Taleb's Skin in the Game, and he made some comment about a heuristic that, like, if you want to have friends, you don't want to show off. Like, you don't want to show off your wealth, and you don't want to show off, like, your intellect or your ability. And that led me down this rabbit hole of searches. And yeah, finding out that there's this, like, kind of this common sort of, like, loneliness with people who have high verbal IQs, finding most conversation to be understimulating, boring, or whatever. And it reminded me a lot of myself because I realized, like, although I have the capacity to communicate with a lot of people, I don't enjoy communicating with most people. And I wondered why that is. And it reminded me of a lot of specific instances where, like, I don't know, I kind of hit a wall where I'm just like, this person is no longer interesting to me because they don't say things. This sounds... Anyway, this is bad. I'm gonna shut up now. I feel bad. I'm gonna shut up. It's not always the case, by the way. The opposite also happens. The opposite also happens too, where occasionally I come across someone who's like really interesting and they say things that are very interesting, and maybe I'm the one that's boring. Oh, another reason I was thinking about this is because of Cadril. I think Cadril might be my Oshi, guys. He might be, because not only does he co-stream League of Legends, which I fucking love that game. It's such a good game. Between the streams, he has a tendency to play like other types of like puzzle games. So that's how I got into GeoGuessr lately, because I watched him playing that and I was like, oh, this is fun. But then also he's been playing this like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire simulator thing. It's just him like answering trivia questions, and then another time he was like practicing Duolingo to learn Korean, and I was like, I don't know what you call this, right? Because there's so many video games in the world. Or today he also was doing like some sort of like Wordle like puzzle where you group together similar words like in categories. Anyway, there's a lot of games in the world, right? But I don't know what you call like this specific niche of like of like a mix between like logic, trivia, and like I guess so chess is also something that interests me, but I don't play, and I also feel like I don't even know if I want to I don't even know if I want to continue learning how to play, honestly. I think it might be a little bit too much, but yeah, I realized that that's a niche of like content that I do like. But the downside is like sometimes I guess he gives himself a headache. So then he turns on these what is it daily dose of internet brain rot shorts. And it makes me so mad because I'm like, I want you to be my Oshi so I could just play this stream in the background, but there's no way you're gonna get me to listen to internet short slop. It's like, it's so painful. The only exception for me for that is like cat videos. I did watch that on stream with people once. I watched some like cat shorts, but I don't think that's slop. That's just cute. Anyway, I'm done talking now. I'll go now. I I yapped for 27 minutes. I could yap more because I'm also really mad at big tech. I'm thinking about leaving the Mac and Apple community altogether and just going balls deep into Linux. Like seriously, I'm I'm really pissed off because of some Safari issues I'm having. Also, the new CEO of Apple is talking a lot about AI, and it makes me fucking cringe. It makes me so mad. What else? Also, Cloudflare had some layoffs, and everybody knows. You know, a lot of you are probably students, and you know what's going on with the Canvas hacking situation. There's so much shit to yap about, but yeah, that's enough for today. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day and a great weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with Sugoi. Not this Saturday. Maybe I will actually prepare a proper stream for once. But yeah, I just wanted to give you that update. Also say sorry, Oni-chan. You didn't deserve me crashing out like that. I didn't really finish my statement, but sometimes when I'm streaming, I just want to finish my train of thought before responding to the chat, but I don't let myself do that. And this is where the whole like verbal IQ thing comes in. Words are like stickier to me than I think the average person. Words and sentences and like that it's something that I'm working on, the ability to just to not get distracted by someone else's narrative or someone else's tangent or something like that. But yeah, my brain is sort of overactive around things like that, and I felt really stun locked because I was like in the middle of a thought. I didn't want to be streaming to begin with. I was really tired and in a bad mood yesterday, and it just like it just pissed me off. Anyway, love you. Bye.